Hello everybody, Logic for Life here, bringing us a brand new deck profile. This time around we got Cardians, a deck that I used to think was deader than a doornail with Master Rule 4. But however, I was very wrong. Mostly thanks to his old. The funny thing about Cardians is that they're all warriors, and there's, despite them having that really obnoxious restriction that a lot of Arc V archetypes had where, oh, you can only summon stuff from your own archetype, there's a lot of ways to work around that. And so the deck is actually still playable during Master Rule 4. It's just, you gotta be a bit smart about your plays and how you want to go about things. So, let's get on with this. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. So, first and foremost, we got Flower, Cardian, Pine. Pine is, well, your main starter, primarily. Whenever he's normal summon, you get to draw a card, reveal it. If it's a Cardian, cool, you get it goes to your hand. If it's not a Cardian monster, it goes to your graveyard. And then if he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to draw a card. Really good card overall. He's the only normal summonable Cardian monster, so he's kind of your main one that you want to get to as soon as possible. But however, he is overall just like one of the main cards of the deck, just being so good. Next up, I got triple Zebragrass. Zebragrass is another good one. It lets you reshuffle your hand out of Cardians whenever it's summoned. It's basically like a Cosmotown. Whenever it hits the field, you get to reveal any number of Cardian monsters in your hand, shuffle them back in the deck, draw cards equal to the number of cards you shuffled back. This card is also the first one that introduces the main gimmick of the deck, where if you control a Cardian with a level lower than it, so basically this thing's level, what, 8 if I remember right, so you gotta have a 7 or lower monster, you just special summon it for free at the cost of only being able to summon Cardians for the rest of the turn. And that's the main gimmick of the deck, but however there's ways to get around that. You can only summon Cardians for the rest of this turn. And notice that says for the rest of, so that's a really key component of that, just simply to get around all that. Next up, we got triple Flower Cardian Willow. His gimmick is that you can shuffle a Cardian from your graveyard back to your deck to draw a card, and then of course also he has the good old special summon from hand if you control a level 10 or lower, if I remember right, or maybe it's level 11. I believe this guy's, yeah, the level 10 or lower. And then I got triple Flower Cardian Paulownia. He is the level 12. Whenever he was attacked, he ends the battle phase and get to draw a card. And then, of course, he's anything that's level 11 or lower. And now we start getting to the advanced forms. So you got the little forms, and then you got their advanced forms, which are basically the same thing, but they have a bit more gimmicks to them. So first and foremost, we got the Flower Cardian Willow with Calligrapher. So this guy can only be summoned by attributing a level 11 Cardian from your hand, so basically the original Willow, who is of course there. Whenever he hits the field, you get to draw a card, reveal it. If it's a Cardian, you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. If not, it doesn't ignore summoning conditions. You can special summon it, but if it's not a Cardian, it goes to your graveyard. Very, very lucky luck space there. And then also, since he's the tuner of the deck, and you're probably thinking, wait, what? Why are there tuners in this? Well, basically, whenever you use him for a synchro summon of a Cardian synchro monster, you can treat him and every other monster that you use in this material as a level 2 monster. So therefore, if like you want to go for a level 8, you use him and 3 more as level 2s, 2, 2, 2, 2. That equals 8, if I remember right. I probably missed a 2 there, but oh well. But anyways, this guy sets up the main setup for the rest of the advanced forms. So then we got Pine with Crane. Whenever he's summoned, and you can only do that by attributing off a level 1 Cardian, he gets to let you draw a card, reveal it. If it's a Cardian, it's cool, special summon it. If not, it goes to grave. Every single advanced form does that. And then at the end of the battle phase of the turn he battles, you get to draw a card. Pretty cool. And then there's of course Zebragrass with Moon, which fun fact, that's a good old wicked avatar there. He does the same thing, of course. Whenever he's summoned, draw a card, reveal it, Cardian, special summon it. And then also, if he destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, sorry, it doesn't have to be sent to the graveyard, you get to just draw a card, which is great. I mean, This deck is really weird. It's the only like draw-centric deck that cannot play Exodia, and the only reason why you can't play Exodia is because of how many times that you might send that Exodia piece to graveyard. But I digress. And then of course there's Polonia with Phoenix. Well, same thing. Tribute off of Phoenix, draw a card, reveal it. If it's a Cardian, spell summon it, otherwise goes to grave. And then if he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you get to draw a card. Again, like, it's just pretty cool. The extra drawing is nice, but however, their extra drawing effects won't really trigger too much, at least not Zebragrass or Polonia, mostly because he's got to inflict battle damage and he's got to kill a monster in battle, and they're both 2K, which, I mean, it'll come up every now and then, but it won't come up like super often. And then we got the next tuner, Flower Cardian, oh dear lord, I can't pronounce this. Peony with Butterfly. So this dude, you contribute any Cardian to special summon him. Whenever you do, you draw a card and reveal it. If it's a Cardian, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and then put them back in any order. If it's not a Cardian, it goes to your graveyard. And then also, he's another tuner, so then hey, you get to use him and any of your other dudes as level 2 monsters, which is just wonderful. And then we got good old Maple with Deer, and also one, oh dear lord, Clover with Boar. I can't read these names upside down. So these two are reverses of each other. They both have the same thing where you contribute off a Cardian to special summon them, and then whenever you do, you get to draw a card, reveal it. If it's a Cardian monster, one of them lets you destroy a monster, the other lets you destroy a spell or trap card. Boar is the destroy one monster your opponent controls, and that's pretty useful, but like it's nothing too major. Back row is the bane of this deck's existence, so that's why I'm playing 2 of the Maple with Deer, because Maple with Deer is the back row remover, so that's just generally a lot nicer. However, I can't understand why some people want to play more Boar than Maple. I just feel like it's like any ratio of total of 3 of these 2 is pretty good in my experience. You don't want to draw into too many of them because they're not as easy to summon as the others. Moving on, we got the spells. First and foremost, triple Allure of Darkness. Everything in this deck is a dark. Kind of goes without saying that you'd want to play Allure, just so to get to your combo pieces a bit faster. And then we got triple Recardination. Recardination is an amazing, amazing card. So you target one Cardian in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then you can spell summon any Cardian from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. It does not have to be the Cardian that you added. It can be any of them. You can add a Pine and then special summon the level 11 tuner from your hand. It's really, really good overall. And then also, so something that you'll notice compared to the original spell, because originally this deck was nothing but monsters, 1 spell card, like archetype support wise, but then they gave them 2 more spells, actually 3 more spells now that I think about it, and something that they did with the 3 spells that they added was that they all gave them effects that trigger while in graveyard or sent to graveyard by their effects, because they're not Cardian cards. So whenever this card is sent to the graveyard by a Cardian effect, you get to look at the next 5 cards of your deck and place them in any order. It's really freaking good and really sets you up with everything that you want to do. Next up, though, is Super Koi Koi, which Super Koi Koi is your main way of getting around that obnoxious restriction. Generally speaking, you want to try and activate Super Koi Koi before you do anything else, except for activating flower stacking, which we'll get to here in a minute. So, Super Koi Koi. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and special summon any Cardians among them onto your field, obviously. Their effects are negated and their levels become 2. Also, it summons them ignoring their summoning conditions, so even like the ones that can't be summoned by other card effects, it ignores that, which is just really great. Now then, any of the non-Cardians that you reveal are banished face down, and you take 1,000 damage for each one. So it's a very, very luck stacky card. You want to try and ideally reveal 3, obviously. But however, revealing 2 is just as good, because that gets you to a Zold, and that opens up more zones for you to do stuff, which is really, really great. It also has an effect in graveyard. You can banish it from your graveyard, tribute a monster, and spell summon any Cardian from your hand, ignoring summoning conditions. Really freaking amazing card overall. You do not have to wait a turn for that second effect, but both effects are once per turns, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, or at least I think it's just... yeah, you can only activate... Okay, so the in-graveyard effect is not a hard once per turn, but activating the actual card by itself is, which is a bit annoying. Now then, you can kind of stack things in your favor with, well, flower stacking. So this card, you choose 3 of your Cardians in your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order, and then if it's in your graveyard, except during the turn it was sent there, you can banish it to add any Cardian from your graveyard to your hand. This card, you generally want to try and activate before Super Koi Koi, so you are guaranteed to get your 3 monsters. It's an amazing combo. Yes, it's a 2-card combo, but however, it's an amazing one, and it results in you just going so much plus. Of course, unfortunately, both cards can be ashed, which is a bit annoying, but I digress. Actually, I don't think flower stacking can be ashed because it's not removing the cards from the deck, it's just putting them on top of your deck. So I don't think flower stacking can, but Super Koi Koi definitely can be, which is a bit annoying. Also, its graveyard effect is absolutely amazing for the mid to late game, or heck, even just later on for comboing in general. Now then, moving on to their original spell card, Flower Gathering. Originally, this was the deck's win condition. Whenever you activate it, you select 4 of your Cardian monsters with 100 attack and 100 defense from your deck, special summon them all in attack position with their effects negated. During the turn that you activate Flower Gathering, you cannot summon anything except for Cardians, period. Even if you make Isolde first and then you want to activate Gathering later, you can't do that. The turn you activate Gathering, that is the only thing you are doing pretty much, except for synchroing for stuff. So this card is really freaking good, obviously. You know, you activate it, you get 4 free monsters. Granted, they're all in attack position, they all have 100 attack and defense, and all their effects are negated. But however, their levels are not changed or anything, and so therefore you can just go off from there. If you have the tuner, you can just tribute off the level, you can tribute off the Lobo, and then go off from there. It's such an amazing card. However, I did have to bump it from 3 to 2, and heck, I'm honestly almost considering even putting it to 1 because of that hefty restriction of only being able to go into Cardians for the turn. But however, it's still such a powerful card, and until Cardians get a way to search out their spells and traps, because funnily enough, they do have a trap, but it's not good. So, yeah, until they get a way to search out their spells and traps, there's not really much reason to play any more than 2 Gathering anymore, mostly due to the hindrance of Master Rule 4. Now then, for the last 2 spells, I do play 1 Rhoda, kind of goes without saying you want to get to Pine as soon as possible, and then also 1 Moonmirror Shield for the Isolde plays, which results in some hilariously fun stuff. So, moving on to the extra deck, we got triple Flower Cardian Moonflower Viewing. We finally got her in Flames of Destruction. It took way too long, and yet we still have like 5 cards from that original Dimension box over in OCG land. But we finally got Moonflower Viewing, and this is what made me want to go back and retry Cardians again. Moonflower Viewing is by far one of the best synchros in this deck, and honestly almost like one of the best cards in the deck in general. So it needs 1 tuner plus 2 or more non-tuner monsters. So it is technically generic, but it being a level 6, you're basically locked into only using it in Cardians. Though I have seen some funny Quasar builds that have played this. So basically what it does is once per turn you can give up your next turn's draw phase to draw 1 card. And then if it's a Cardian, you can reveal it and then special summon it with ignoring its summoning conditions, and it can attack your opponent directly. Additionally, since it's a tuner, you can treat it and all other synchro materials as level 2 for the synchro summon of a Cardian synchro, which is really, really, really good. Actually, it's any synchro. Oh, wow. So you can go for any synchro monster with this thing, which is really, really cool. So yeah, it's just an overall great card for the deck, and it's just freaking amazing in general. It's also the only the synchro that you play 3 of. Next up we got Flower Cardian oh dear lord, how do you pronounce this? Boardfly. So Boardfly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm honestly thinking about cutting him down to 1, but however, he is pretty good in certain matchups. So he has the same summoning conditions as Moonflower Viewing, but however, he doesn't do the same stuff. So once per turn, you can banish a Cardian from your graveyard until the end of the next turn. Your opponent cannot activate any cards or effects from their graveyard. And then if a Flower Cardian monster you control attacks a defense position monster, it does piercing. So really good card overall. Oh yeah, and they cannot special summon anything from their graveyard either. So against certain matchups, It's really good, just being able to lock down everything out of your opponent's graveyard. Like for instance, just dueling against Spiral. I know Spiral likes to do a lot of special summoning from the graveyard. Being able to lock down card effects and special summoning from the graveyard. Just really good overall. The piercing damage for all of your Cardians is just icing on the cake, and also lets you get that extra draw from the dude who needs to inflict battle damage to your opponent. Really good card overall, but again, I've been kind of considering putting him to 1 just because you don't really make him too much except for in certain matchups. So yeah, it's kind of like play 1 or 2. Moving on, we got the other best synchro in the deck, Flower Cardian Light Shower, the deck's primary boss monster, and a dude you mainly want to make after making Isolde. So he needs a tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners to go into, sorry, 3 or more non-tuners to go into. And of course he's a level 8, so generally speaking, you're gonna be using 4 monsters to make him. And for 4 monsters, you get a darn good boss monster. So this thing, while he's on the field, your opponent cannot target or destroy your Cardians, period. That goes for all of them, including himself. So they cannot target or destroy them by card effects at all. And that's just really good overall. Oh yeah, and also if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, once a turn they take 1500 damage. So yeah, that is really, well, it's gotta be, I misremembered the effect. If they draw a card for their normal draw phase, they take 1500 damage. Now if you have multiple of these guys out, that's pretty mean, so yeah. But however, that just is the cherry on a cake for that protection thing. Now then, however, during your opponent's end phase, you have to choose one of 2 effects. Either give up your normal draw, or negate his effects. So you have to either give up your draw phase or negate his effects to be able to keep drawing. So really good card overall. The negation of your draw doesn't really matter too much. It's one of the big reasons why Cardians have so many different draw effects to mitigate that, because Cardian Light Shower and Moonflower Viewing both negate your next turn's draw phase. So just being able to just, you know, get around that and circumvent it is really good overall. And again, you mainly want to make him as soon as possible. Alongside him, you want to try and get out good old Light Flare. Light Flare is the deck's other main boss monster, and oh boy is he a boss monster. He needs 1 tuner plus 4 more non-tuners to make. He's a level 10. And once per turn, whenever your opponent activates a spell or trap card, and by once per turn I mean once per turn during your opponent's turn, whenever your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can negate that spell or trap card and destroy it. And then if he battles an opponent's monster, negate that monster's effects until the end of the battle phase. And that actually goes, and like with Light Shower, he gives that to all of your Cardians as well. If I remember correctly, I don't want to misremember that and lie to you guys. Yeah, if a Fire Cardian monster you control battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster has its effects negated during the battle phase only. And then if this face-up Synchro Summon card dies, you can summon any of your level 8 or lower Cardian Synchros for free. And it's, I don't think it's treated as a Synchro Summon, is it? Nope, it is not. You can just spell summon a Fire Cardian Synchro monster from your extra deck, except him. So, really darn good card. 5,000 attack, 0 defense. That doesn't really matter overall, but the 5,000 attack is amazing. Generally speaking, due to how things work, you're going to want to make him first and then make Light Shower. But again, like, it's just such a good card, especially if you can get out both of these guys together. Moving on to the rest of the extra deck, we got double Isolde. So I was playing triple, but honestly you only need 2. Good old Isolde is, well, an incredibly good card. You just need 2 warriors to go into her. Whenever she's link summon, you get to add a warrior from your deck to your hand. Typically, I usually add one of the advanced forms of the good old Cardians, just so I don't have to worry about drawing into it. And then also, once per turn, you can send an equipped spell from your deck to the graveyard, spell summon a monster of the same level as the number of equipped spells that you sent. So since the only monster we really can summon, and I'm not gonna jam in like freaking 7 equipped spells for level 7s, that's the reason why I'm playing only 1 equipped spell, and that's Moon Mirror Shield. And the reason why I chose Moon Mirror Shield over Defiant Sword Phoenix Blade or something is because Moon Mirror Shield you can equip onto one of your monsters, go for the link summon, Moon Mirror Shield effect, pay 500, put it on the bottom of your deck, so then you don't have to worry about, you know, dead drawing into it, because Defiant Sword Phoenix Blade, you draw into it, your Isolde plays are kind of locked out, except for the searching part, obviously. So yeah, Moon Mirror is just a better card overall compared to Defiant Sword Phoenix Blade for this particular deck. Next up, I'm playing one of each of the Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Cerberus. Their main thing is just general spot removal, you know, not much more than that. Next up, I got a card that I know is not technically legal for tournament play yet, so if you don't have it, or if you want to play this deck before tournament legal play, just replace it with a Decode Talker or something. But good old Summon Sorceress. Summon Sorceress is freaking amazing in this deck for you. More combo extensions. You just make her using Isolde and another one of your... usually what I do is I use the monster I summon off of... Super Koi Koi. Like ideally, you want to summon 3 monsters off of Super Koi Koi, link off with 2 of them for Isolde. Make sure that one of the ones that you are leaving points in the same zone where Isolde points to, because that monster will also be in the same zone where Summon Sorceress will point to. And then you'll obviously, you know, use Isolde's effects and to summon up Pine, link off with her and Pine. Yeah, link off with her and... sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. You want to summon Pine to her point, and then link off of her and a monster that has its effects negated for Summon Sorceress, and then that way so that then you have Pine on field so you can still summon everybody from your hand for easy, and then also you have Summon Sorceress's effect to be able to use, targeting Pine to summon out more things. It just is really, really ridiculous. And yeah, I don't need to really go into great detail on why she's so good. And then of course, finally, Firewall Dragon, just as another combo extender, just simply because after you do that, with her effect, you can then make a Firewall, so then you can start going off even more. I don't go into Firewall too much, just simply because he doesn't open as many zones as Summon Sorceress does, but however, there are times where he does come in handy for that, for more combo extensions. So yeah. Anyways guys, that is Cardians. What do you guys think of Cardians? Do you think that with Isolde deck is actually like viable as just a fun rogue deck in TCG under Master Rule 4, or do you think that the deck still needs a lot of support? Honestly, I think the decks could still use a few new cards, but however, overall, I think the deck is just fine as a really fun rogue deck as it is. But what do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. And hey, leave your comments down below. I may not always respond to your comments, but I do read them. Peace out, guys. Before the video ends, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Mr. JGoods123 for becoming a Patreon on my Patreon thingy. I'll be honest, I forgot all about my Patreon for the longest time because nobody was well, doing that anymore. So anyways, I just want to give a quick shout out to him because of course if you donate $1 a month, you get a shout out at the end of my videos. And yeah, I wanted to thank him real quick. Also, a real quick side note, I went and made an Instagram. I have no idea what Instagram is. I have no idea what it's for, but people kept telling me to make an Instagram, so I made an Instagram. Link will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. See you.